you need to stop bullshitting yourself. I'm trying to put this as lightly as possible because I don't want to offend anybody, but I'm also not here to tippy toe around your feelings. If you are going to acknowledge yourself to be the absolute power in your life, the only I am, and you want to create better things for your life, you have to get very, very honest with yourself, and self-awareness is first and foremost, 100%. Let me explain what I mean by this. I'm sure a lot of you guys have heard of being unhinged, the unhinged method. It is a thing, okay? And what being unhinged means is, okay, so let's say you're having a very difficult situation with your boss at work or with your SP, okay? And you're manifesting a healthy, loving, committed relationship with your SP or with your boss, you want to raise or whatever. Being unhinged in your 3D means that you are so convicted and you're so convinced that your desire is inevitable. Okay, there's no stopping it, that no matter how you act, everything you say and do is the right move. It's the right thing to say. Okay, you are at the right place at the right time, period. So whenever your boss tells you something that you don't agree with, I mean, you can go as far as telling them to fuck off, and you know it's not going to cause any kind of drama or dilemma in your life. Or if your SP is telling you that they don't love you and that they don't want to be with you, and you're as unhinged to tell them to their face, yes, you love me, and yes, you're going to be with me because I said so, because you know that no matter how fucking crazy you act, I mean, your desire is a done freaking deal. You're ruthless, you're fearless, and that's how you want to carry yourself in the 3D, and nothing is going to make you waver, then sure, go ahead and be unhinged. Being unhinged doesn't mean, let me go ahead and stalk my SP's social media and then try to convince myself that stalking my SP's social media is not me coming from lack. It's just that I'm unhinged, and therefore it's not going to affect my manifestation. If you are the identity who already has it, if you're convicted and convinced that this is inevitable for you and you're going to achieve this and get this, would you have the need to stalk your SP? Would you be curious, suspicious, wondering, what are they up to? Let me go ahead and see if they're lying. Let me go ahead and see if they're guilty of anything or if they're with someone else. Why would they be with someone else? Or how can that thought even cross your mind if you're convicted that they're already yours? How are you going to tell yourself that, oh, it's okay to act from an identity that is completely the opposite of the identity that has what they want? Stop bullshitting yourself. That is your ego talking. That is your ego trying to justify why you're performing from lack and why you're taking actions from lack. Trying to convince yourself that you are a higher identity, but you want to perform things from lack and justify it in your head. Guys, there is no such thing as inspired action, okay? I mean, yes, technically, like, we are inspired to do action, but the action actually comes from the identity that you are. Okay, so a lot of people are like, well, how will I know if I'm acting correctly? Because you're always acting from the identity that you're choosing. So if you're performing or acting or thinking from the ideal, the best version of yourself, you're not going to be performing from lack, because your infinite, yourself, your higher intelligence, right? Your I amness is going to be acting through you to meet that ideal identity. You always know what identity you're in by how you're thinking and how you're performing, not to mention what the 3D is reflecting to you, because the 3D is just the delayed projection of what you've been having in your mind to begin with, right? Or if you're that person who's over consuming manifestation content, and then you go from one coach to another, to another, to another, finding the missing key, trying to figure out what else you need to know, but then you also want to lie to yourself and say, oh, I'm just consuming content just for knowledge. Oh, I'm just, I just want to see what this coach says. Stop lying to yourself and be honest. The identity that's already set and that already understands this, or that is already applying actively, isn't scrolling to get the next dopamine hit because they had a trigger, isn't scrolling because they have an insecurity that I need to learn more, I need to know more. You need to be honest with yourself. You need to have awareness of what it is that you're doing, because you are only being your own tripping stone. Okay, you're the only person that's getting in the way of seeing things materialize in your life. And this isn't to criticize anybody. This isn't to judge anybody on like what they're doing. This is to bring you some self-awareness, because I think some people need to hear this. The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and over and expecting a different result. So if you're waking up tomorrow and the first inclination that you have is to look at your SP social media and then justify it by saying, oh, I always do everything right and I always do the right move. Okay, you can claim that all you want, but who you're identifying at the core is that insecure, suspicious person who needs the validation of that 3D to make them feel like they're on the right track. And you don't need any exterior validation. You are the validation. You're the reason why this projected in the first place. So validate yourself first and seek first your desires from within you. Seek first the kingdom of God, and then everything will be added onto you. The kingdom of God is in here, guys. Okay? It's from the source that's within you, and everything will be projected out there. Don't be the definition of insanity, as Albert Einstein said.